You've seen the headlines. Everyone's leaving California. The taxes, the prices, the traffic, the cost of everything. Pack the truck, head to Texas, never look back. Here's what those videos never show you. In the first quarter of 2026, California housing affordability hit a 4-year high. The statewide median price actually dropped for the first time since 2023. And in Long Beach specifically, the math for staying looks very different than the internet wants you to believe. So before you list your Long Beach house and chase a cheaper zip code in 3 states away, let's run the numbers no one in those videos bothered to run. I'm not going to pretend California's cheap because it isn't. If your only metric is sticker price, you will always find somewhere cheaper. That's true of almost any expensive coastal city in America. But cheaper somewhere else is not the same as better for you. And the people selling the Exodus story almost never run the full equation. They'll show you the price of a house in another state, and then they stop there. They leave out the parts that don't fit the thumbnail. Here's the conventional take, the one you've heard 100 times. California's a sinking ship, smart money's getting out, and Long Beach real estate is overpriced and only going down. That's the belief that everyone repeats. Here's my contrarian read, and it's backed by 2026 data, not a feeling. The affordability window in Long Beach just opened wider than it has in years. The long-term demand drivers in this city are getting stronger, not weaker. And a lot of people are about to make a permanent, expensive decision based on a temporary mood. I've lived and worked in this market for over 20 years. I'm gonna show you 5 things the Exodus videos skip. The 5 things that actually decide whether leaving Long Beach is smart or whether it's the most expensive mistake you'll make this decade. By the end, you'll be able to run your own stay or go math instead of borrowing someone else's conclusion off a thumbnail. Let's start with the number that breaks the whole Exodus narrative wide open. In the first quarter of 2026, the California Association of Realtors reported that statewide housing affordability climbed to its highest level in 4 years. Let me put that in plain terms. The statewide median price for a detached home fell about 3% from the prior quarter, and it was slightly down year over year. That's the first annual price drop since the middle of 2023. At the same time, the 30-year fixed rate eased into the low 6% range earlier in the year. Lower prices, plus a small break on rates, plus rising incomes, pushed more buyers back into qualifying range than at any point in 4 years. Now I'll be straight with you, because I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. California's still expensive. A large majority of the households still can't afford the statewide median income. That's real, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But the direction changed. For the first time in years, the trend is moving towards buyers, not away from them. Here's what that means specifically for Long Beach. When statewide affordability improves, the coastal markets that had been completely out of reach start letting people back in at the edges. And Long Beach has historically sat below the LA County median by roughly $80,000. That gap is exactly why the city is often the first coastal door that reopens when conditions loosen even a little. So think about the timing here. The people fleeing California right now are fleeing at the exact moment the door cracked back open. That's no reason to run out and buy blindly, but it is a reason to stop treating leave as the obvious automatic answer. Because the obvious answer is usually the one no one has actually pressure tested. Which brings me to the comparison those Exodus videos love to make. The one that's rigged. When someone tells you a house in another state costs half of what it costs in Long Beach, they're comparing the wrong things. They're comparing one number and calling it a life. A house is more than a price. It's the price plus what you give up, plus what you take on. And the Exodus math almost always ignores 3 things that completely change the answer. First, income. Those high-earning California jobs usually don't follow you with the same pay. People move for a cheaper house and take a pay cut, and very often the pay cut is bigger than the housing savings. You feel richer for about a year, and then the math catches up with you. Second, the cost of where you're going. Cheaper sticker states often come with their own expensive problems. Property taxes that run far higher than California's, because California's Prop 13 caps how fast your assessment can climb. Brutal summer cooling bills in places where you run the air conditioning for 5 months straight. And in a lot of those regions, home insurance has gotten just as difficult and expensive as ours, sometimes worse, because of hurricanes, hail, tornadoes, and flooding. The headline price hides the carrying cost, and the carrying cost is what you actually pay for every month for 30 years. Third, and this is the one people underweigh the most, your actual daily life. The ocean 15 minutes away. A climate you don't have to fight 9 months out of the year. Walkable neighborhoods where you can grab coffee and dinner without getting in the car. the specific things that made you choose Southern California in the first place. Those don't show up on a spreadsheet, but you'll feel their absence every single day if you trade them away for a bigger garage. Now, I'm not telling you those things are priceless. I'm telling you that they belong in the equation. And the Exodus videos delete them on purpose because the math only looks one-sided when you cut out half of it. So, if the comparison is rigged, what's the honest way to think about staying in Long Beach? It starts with understanding who's actually leaving, because it's not who you think. I'm Beatrix Whipple, owner of the Whipple Group, longtime Long Beach resident, realtor, athlete, and sourdough enthusiast. If you want to learn more about Long Beach and what's actually happening in our real estate market, make sure to hit subscribe. And if you're sitting on the stay or go decision right now, the free Long Beach relocation guide in the description is built exactly for this moment. It walks you through the neighborhoods, the commute, the realities, the price points, and what life actually costs here, so you can compare on real numbers instead of headlines. Grab it. It's useful whether you're moving in, moving across town, or just deciding whether to stay put. Research out of the University of California tracked the same households over a number of years, and they found something a lot more nuanced than everyone's leaving. The people most likely to relocate out of high-cost California areas are disproportionately the ones who got priced out, not the high earners cashing in their equity, the households that simply couldn't afford to stay any longer. That's a very different story than the Exodus videos tell. The Exodus videos are framing it as savvy people making a brilliant financial escape. And that distinction matters for one big reason. If you own here, when the people leaving are mostly the ones who couldn't afford to stay, and the demand drivers for the area stay strong, prices don't collapse. They find a floor and they hold, because there's a line of people ready to take the place of anyone who exits. That's exactly the Long Beach dynamic right now. This is a supply-constrained coastal city. As I covered in my market breakdown, single-family inventory here is sitting around a month and a half of supply, when a balanced market is 5 to 6 months of supply. Homes that are priced right and in good condition still move, sometimes in a couple of weeks, sometimes with competing offers. So to the Exodus. To the extent it isn't real. It isn't draining demand out of Long Beach. It's mostly people the market priced out being replaced by the next wave of people that the improving affordability just priced back in. If you own here and you panic sell into that, you may be handing your spot to someone who understands the floor a lot better than you do. That's the demand side, and it's holding. Now let's talk about what's coming, because the long-term Long Beach case is getting stronger, not weaker. And this is the part that should make anyone think twice before they leave. Here's what the Exodus story completely ignores. Long Beach's future demand is being built right now in front of our eyes. A $1 billion defense tech campus is under construction near the Long Beach airport, and it's expected to support around 5,500 high-income jobs by 2027. The city is hosting 11 Olympic events in 2028, more than any venue outside of LA itself, with a major infrastructure program attached to it. State laws taking effect this year are pushing new housing and transit-oriented density, and downtown has added thousands of units. The largest residential project in the city's history just opened its doors. Put all of that together, you have rising high-income employment, a global event runway through 2028, billions of dollars in infrastructure spending, and a coastal location that by definition is not making any more land. Those are the exact ingredients that support long-term property values, and not just for a quarter, but for a decade. Here's the thing nobody fleeing wants to sit with. Cities that people are genuinely abandoning don't attract billion-dollar campuses and Olympic events. Companies and committees don't bet that kind of money on a sinking ship. They bet it on a city with a future. So the smart money read isn't get out before it sinks. The smart money read is, this is a coastal city with real catalysts lining up over the next 24 to 36 months, and the inventory to absorb them is thin. So when you weigh stay versus go, you're not just comparing today's prices, you're making a bet on which place has the stronger next decade. And on that specific question, Long Beach is nowhere near the loser the headlines make it out to be. Which leaves one honest question I have to answer, because sometimes leaving is genuinely the right call, and I'm not going to pretend it never is. I'm not going to tell you no one should ever leave California. That would make me exactly like the people on the other side selling the Exodus. It would be dishonest, and you'd see right through it. Leaving is the right move for some people. If your income isn't tied to this region and it follows you at full pay somewhere cheaper, the math can genuinely favor going. That's real, and if that's you, go with confidence. If you're retired or on a fixed income and your equity here buys you a paid-off house and a much lower carrying cost somewhere else, that can be a smart and a freeing choice. And if your whole life, your family, your job, your reasons are somewhere else, then honestly, Long Beach was never really the question for you. But here's the line that separates a good decision from a regret that you carry for years. Leave because the math in your life actually point that way. Don't leave because a thumbnail told you the ship is sinking. Because this is what I watch happen in this market. People sell a Long Beach house in a panic. They take a pay cut they didn't fully price out. They land somewhere with its own hidden costs that no one warned them about. And 2 years later, they're watching Long Beach values hold steady while they try to figure out how on earth they get back in. Getting out is easy. Anyone can sell. Getting back into a supply-constrained coastal market after you've left, after prices have moved, and after you've taken the pay cut, that's the hard part. That's the part that traps people. So run your real math, all of it. Income, carrying costs, daily life, and which city has the stronger next decade. If the honest answer is go, then go and don't look back. But if the honest answer is stay, then stop letting other people's headlines rent space in your decision. That's the math they skip. Now you have it. Here's where I'll leave you. Long Beach rewards people who come prepared. The exodus is a story. Your decision is math. The people who run the full equation, income, carrying costs, daily life, and the next decade of demand make far better calls than the people reacting to a feeling that someone packaged up for views. If you're still researching whether Long Beach is your place, grab the free Long Beach relocation guide. It's in the description. It's the whole picture in one document. If you're ready to actually run your numbers, stay or go, reach out directly. I personally respond. Hit subscribe. Real numbers, real market, no noise. I'll see you in the next one.